Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a very special season finale of the 2024 iACT Tour Series as we get ready for one last event here on iRacing. I am Nick Mumley, alongside me, Michael Stridesberg. And Michael, we are racing for a lot tonight. Championship on the line, also honoring a great racer and friend, Doug Hoar, who passed away recently. And a lot on the line on the racetrack here tonight as we get ready to crown a champion.
And we're doing it all from one of the most historic tracks in North America, the North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Wilkesboro, Carolina. The Doug Hoar Memorial 146 presented by Witt's Automotive. The first of 3 qualifying heats is on the track. Next, Nick, let's meet the starting lineup for this one.
Absolutely. Starting on the inside of row number 1, we have the 17 of Kyle Goodboe. To his outside, that's car number 43, Kyle Willis. Nate Wenzel will start third in the 03 machine, and then we've got Taylor Hoar racing in the 46 car tonight, rounding out row number 2.
Inside of row number 3, we have Juan Paco Marshall from Pittsfield, Vermont, and then the point leader for the GossCars.com iACT Series, Casey Beatty from St. Johnsbury, Vermont. Riding on the rear of the field, the 69 of Aiden Young, top 10 points driver, and shotgun is the former Stafford Speedway late model champion, Michael Bennett, will round out your Heat 1 field.
Good, strong heat here to kick off the night. Casey Beatty, you see him back there in the newly designed number 45 machine. That's the car that he's going to be racing on the American-Canadian Tour here in just a couple of weeks when we get to Loudon. Green flag is out. Goodboe and Willis bring us to the green flag here at North Wilkesboro.
It is Kyle Goodboe getting the jump. 3 podium finishes already this year and off to a strong start here in heat number 1. Nathan Wenzel to the inside in second, and so Willis slides down into the 3rd position as we complete lap 1.
Strong start for Wenzel. Also watching Taylor Hoar back there. Casey Beatty pulls up to her outside, battling it for the 4th position. You see Beatty in the white, blue, and neon yellow, number 45, working that top side. He's going to get around Taylor Hoar. Hoar will fall to 5th as back up front, Goodboe continues to lead.
Indeed, Kyle Goodboe with some unfinished business this year is off to a strong start in this one. And the other driver to keep an eye on is that 45 of Casey Beatty, entered tonight with a 22-point lead over Bob Eldred in the race to be the GossCars.com iACT champion. You can earn up to 10 points for your heat race performance, so Casey Beatty trying to get everything he can, keep the pressure on Bob Eldred, and here he comes to the inside looking for 3rd on Kyle Willis.
He made quick work of Taylor Hoar, makes quick work of Kyle Willis, now sets his sights for Nate Wenzel in the 03. Meanwhile, Wenzel looking underneath Kyle Goodboe, looking for the race lead. Goodboe still with about a car length advantage as they barrel down into turn number 3.
Nathan Wenzel has had an up-and-down season in that 03 Cy McHugh machine, but the reigning New Hampshire Division I NASCAR state champion is strong early in this one. Takes another peek to the inside of Kyle Goodboe, but so far nothing doing. Before long, though, it is going to be a 3-man dance for the lead as Casey Beatty is reeling him in the 45.
Beatty has caught the front, and he's got 9 laps to make work with him. As Goodboe leading, Wenzel 2nd, Beatty calculating his next move in 3rd. Wenzel jumping to the top side here, maybe trying to arc that corner just a little bit. Goodboe holding him off for now. Beatty takes a peek top side. Still nothing there. They're still in a line, dead heat down here into turns 1 and 2.
Next time by, it'll be a halfway battle for the lead and a battle for the 5th spot here as Aiden Young has been working the inside of Taylor Hoar, had to drop it back in line. We're going to head back up front now as the 45 of Casey Beatty is inside of Wenzel for the number 2 spot.
Beatty slides it down in there underneath Wenzel, looking for the advantage down the backstretch and into 3. Beatty now moves ahead just a little bit off of 4. He's got him cleared. Wenzel will settle in into 3rd. Beatty sets his sights for the leader.
Casey Beatty leaving very little doubt so far in this one. Now has a car length left to catch Kyle Goodboe and just over 5 laps to do it. As let's take a look from outside the rear of Kyle Goodboe car, you can see the 45 getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror as he closes up on him.
Beatty in that beautiful new paint scheme, that Dale Shaw Race Cars prepared automobile. Looking down to the inside here, you see him, he bumps the curb a little bit. You see how that shot him back up the racetrack, killed his momentum. Goodboo will settle in now for now at least. And you see Beatty get the big jump through 1 and 2 once again, and down the backstretch he'll try to prepare an attack headed toward 3 as he starts it in a little bit high and brings it back low. Still trying to get right to the back bumper of Goodboo.
And checking back into the field, the battle for the 5th spot is heated back up again. The 69 Aiden Young again working the inside of Taylor Hoar. But Hoar a little too strong on the outside, and that 46 is going to settle back into the 5th spot. Time is winding down now in this one. Just 2 laps to go in heat number 1, as the 45 of Beatty gives a little bit of a shot to the 17 of Goodboo, but everyone able to hold it together. Coming in on the white flag, and the winner of this one is going to start on the pole for tonight's main event. Nick, one more lap to decide who it's going to be.
Casey Beatty trying to make it an easy drive here on this championship day, but he's got to make a move here on Goodboo. Goodboo slides it up a little bit off of 2. Beatty can't take advantage. Goodboo back into 3 and 4. Checkered flag waving. One last shot from Beatty. Not going to get there. Kyle Goodboo wins heat number 1.
Beatty takes home 2nd, Nathan Wenzel 3rd, Kyle Willis, Aiden Young able to get 5th at the last moment, and then Taylor Hoar, Michael Bennett helping to round out the field. Was the first of 3 qualifying heats in the book for the Witts Automotive Doug Hoar Memorial tonight.
And
we're going to jump right back into the action here, though, as Heat 2 out of 3 is staging on the track. Once again, 15 laps. Lining the field up straight up based on heat race position. So the winner of this one is going to start 2nd in tonight's 146 lap, main event. Nick, let's meet our front row.
Starting on the pole, former late model competitor at Thunder Road in the 04A Trent's machine, that's Matt Smith. To his outside, there's your other championship contender. He needs a strong run here. An opportunity in this heat race, if he can win it, to gain some points on Beatty. Bob Eldred in the 13. Then we've got Caden Fisher, the Tropical Storm, in the SD Ireland number 18 Ford Mustang. To his outside, Trent Goodrow in the 31.
Tonight, driving a very special paint scheme for 2 very special paint schemes. Inside of row 3, the 46, we're going to call it the red 46. That is the 8-time ACT champion Brian Hoar, in a spitting image of his late father Doug Hoar's number 46. Outside, also adopting the 46 tonight in honor of Doug Hoar. It is last week's winner, Justin Prescott, out of Williston, Vermont, riding shotgun on the field. The Claremont Speedway standout races anything and everything around the New England region. Dylan Zulo in the 16Z will round out the Heat 2 field.
Another impressive heat here. We'll see. All eyes are going to be on Bob Eldred in the 13 machine. He's got a new paint scheme this week as well, looking to bring him some good luck as he goes for the championship. Green flag is out. Matt Smith, Bob Eldred, they're in a dead heat down the front stretch. They get a really strong jump over Fisher and Goodrow. They're side by side into turn number 2. See Fisher get a little bit loose, but Eldred with a slight advantage down the back stretch. Matt Smith with the advantage back now. Off of turn 4, he'll lead lap number 1.
Bob Eldred getting a pretty good run on the outside in the turns, but it's that little bit of a shorter way around so far, enough for Matt Smith, but maybe not anymore. Bob Eldred puts the nose up on the outside. Back comes Matt Smith as Caden Fisher looking to get into it as well in the 18 car. 2 laps into this heat, the action already heated all throughout the field.
Well, Bob Eldred needs a really strong run here tonight, and he needs some help as well. He needs Beatty to not be as strong in order to make up the 22-point gap that he faces to win this iACT championship. Eldred on the outside continues to lead by less than half a car length over Matt Smith. Caden Fisher trying to plot his attack there in the 18. Takes a peek low underneath Smith. He'll settle it back in with Goodrow there in 4th.
A little close at the front of the field off of turn 2, and that's going to give Matt Smith the advantage. Smith to the inside, and Caden Fisher trying to follow him through in second. It's a 4-car break at the front of the field as we go inside the cockpit with the number 4 point man, Trent Goodrow in the 31. He is just waiting for a lane to open up here.
And there's not much right now. Two really strong race cars in front of him. Caden Fisher, though, he's making some moves there down on the inside lane. Eldred trying to get that top lane to come in. Just hasn't quite done that yet for him as Matt Smith continues to lead. Oh, and there's problems out there. Fisher hit the curb, and getting into the back of Eldred was Trent Goodrow. Caution flag is out.
Oh man, that is not what Bob Eldred needed in the 13. Had already slid back to third and was just fighting for his life, and now it's gotten a lot worse as we're going to back it up here and take a look from outside the cars at what happened here to bring out the caution.
Caden Fisher hits the curb, and you see it jumps right, that car jumps right up in front of Eldred. Eldred tries to stay out of the back of him as Fisher kind of takes his lane, and Trent Goodrow was not able to check up in time, and you see Justin Prescott get involved in that as well. There in the black and yellow number 46 car, Brian Hoar able to get around that melee, but tough break for Bob Eldred, not what he needed. He needed to gain points on Casey Beatty, not lose him in this heat race.
Indeed, he came into this knowing that Casey Beatty had already finished second in Heat 1 and gotten 8 points. The way the Heat points work, if you're just tuning in to the GossCars.com iACT series, is 10 points for the winner of the Heat, 8 for second, then 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Bob Eldred was already fighting just to not lose any ground, and now he's going to restart shotgun. He'll have about 9 laps left, but he has got a lot of work to do now if he's going to try and keep things close, be in the best position possible going into this 146 lap main event.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaker for Eldred for sure. It just makes his day that much tougher. When you lose ground in the heat race and an already, 22 points is nothing to sneeze at for a point gap with this point system. So he was going to have a perfect night to begin with. Now he's got to win the race and have big problems for Beatty.
Indeed, but this is a track where a lot can happen in a long race tonight, so don't count anything out just yet here. As we get back underway, Caden Fisher already going to work on the 04 of Matt Smith, and they are side by side behind him. Justin Prescott, damage to the right front at all, is working that outside and takes the third spot now from Goodrow as they bump just a little bit in 1 and 2.
A little bit of contact there in turn number 2 as Prescott settles into third. Trent getting there real hot into turn 3 once again. Dylan Zulo trying to work the outside, unable to get the advantage that time by Prescott settling into third right now. You see a little bit of damage on the right front of that car from where he hit Bob Eldred on that caution flag. Back up front, though, it's Matt Smith still leading, but Caden Fisher all over his back bumper. Here with 6 laps to go, trying to get it done, and Fisher trying to get the outside pole starting position here for this race tonight.
Indeed. Caden Fisher, winner already this season, trying to set himself up to become the only repeat winner. In 7 races, we've had 7 different winners. Caden Fisher trying to set himself up and to be in position to break that trend, and he has a bumper up now on the 04 of Matt Smith, but Smith comes right back at him down the straightaway.
Yeah, there's definitely an outside lane that you've got to hit perfectly if you want to make it work here at North Wilkesboro. But if you hit it perfectly and you can do it consistently, then you're going to have really good luck and be able to make that outside lane work. Smith trying to barely hang on up there right now. He's not going to be able to. He will have to settle back in behind Caden Fisher. The Tropical Storm takes the lead with 3 laps to go.
3 laps to go. Behind him, though, they're still side by side. The 16 of Dylan Zulo inside the 31 of Trent Goodrow. Not quite able to make it work that time, as up front we challenge for the lead. The 04 Smith back underneath Caden Fisher as we come to 2 to go.
Here we go now. Caden Fisher's going to get an opportunity to run the top side. Can Smith get the bottom lane working? Just like Fisher was able to just a couple laps ago. Fisher with a strong run on the top, trying to clear himself back down. Coming to the white flag, it is Fisher and Smith side by side to the stripe.
We'll keep one eye on this battle for the win and another eye on the 16 of Bob Eldred as he makes one last bid to get some spots. Oh, for Smith drives it into turn 3 one last time, but off of turn 4, not quite going to get there. Caden Fisher, the 18, takes heat number 2. Then we've got Matt Smith, Justin Prescott in third, Trent Goodrow, and Dylan Zulo rounding out your top 5. Unofficially, Bob Eldred, your number 2 points man, finishes 6th. We'll get, updated unofficial points to you when we have a moment, but Casey Beatty definitely opening up some more breathing room so far in qualifying action.
Absolutely. As we get ready, the third and final heat race of the evening. You see Ryan Nolan starting on the pole and Andrew Hill to his outside in the 07 machine. Then we've got Kyler Davis, winner from a couple of weeks ago, to his outside in the 38, the late model competitor from White Mountain Motorsports Park this year. It's going to be Tyler Cahoon in the 38.
JJ Goodboo, the strictly stock mini competitor from White Mountain, will go inside row 3 in car number 92. Then we have the 7 of Cooper Bouchard out of Heinsberg, Vermont, the multi-time Thunder Road winner in the 6th position. Riding shotgun, the Monster Energy, number 66, back in action this week for the season finale. That is Mike Young rounding out heat number 3.
Here we go, 15 laps for this third and final heat as they take one more lap around here, it looks like. Michael, what are we looking for out of this third and final heat? Who are you going to be watching?
Well, Ryan Nolan is going to be one driver we're watching. Obviously, a good draw on the pole, and finally got off the schneid last week. Had a very solid top 5 finish after a year of hard luck. Also going to be keeping an eye on the 6 of Kyler Davis, feature winner already this year. Had a little tough luck here and there, but when he is good, he can clearly run with the best of them. Let's see how he can set himself up for the Doug Hoar Memorial later on tonight.
Here we go. Green flag is out. 15 laps for the third and final heat race for the Doug Hoar 146 here later on tonight. Davis there getting the jump in third as they race side by side for the lead. Hill and Nolan running side by each into turn number 3. Davis with a good jump there, trying to get equal to him. And settling into 4th position is JJ Goodboo in the 92.
Still, they go door to door at the front. Andrew Hill, normally the number 77, but running the throwback 07 scheme tonight, is making it work in the 3rd lane now as he gets out of turn 3 and 4. Wasn't quite there, falls back into 2nd, and a little contact with Kyler Davis. Davis, though, able to keep his foot in the door, is now looking for the number 2 spot.
Davis underneath Andrew Hill, looking for the spot on the racetrack, trying to get away from him. Oh, and he might get some help here as Hill slides through turns 3 and 4 and slams the front stretch wall there. He'll settle back in, pound the wall again off of turn number 2, but he's got 3rd place, and he's got it pretty well. Goodboo in 4th, and Cooper Bouchard trying to make something happen for 5th, but it looks like he jumped up off the curb there in turns 3 and 4.
Indeed, that curb is something that can really just jump up and bite you at this racetrack. You want to, if you're taking the inside, you want to get it as low as possible, but if you put it even 6 inches too low, you've got a date with the curb and then quite possibly a date with the wall.
Yeah, that curb can mess up your entire run through the corner if you get in there. You see turns 1 and 2, there's no curb down there. If there's a chance you might put your left side tires in the grass a little bit, but that curb mostly through turn 3 all the way to the pit the pit entrance there in turn 1. But as you see them here, they'll come down, no curb, just a little bit of grass. You can kind of get your tires down there. Sometimes that'll even help get your car turned a little bit if you're struggling late in a run. And oh no, we get a car sideways here. And that was Bouchard getting hit in the back there, obviously.
Bouchard gets a little help getting around the curb, but able to get it back underway. Does lose a couple spots.
Good save there from Bouchard, too.
Indeed. Action heating up, though, at the front. It's kind of interesting, Nick. That's one of these characteristics of the track, because if you see looking at the track here, it just has the pit road along the front stretch. But this curb, no curb, is kind of left over from the fact that when the Cup Series was racing at this track in the 80s and up through the mid-90s, pit road basically started in the middle of the back straightaway, maybe even close to the exit of turn 2. So they had that curb there because that was the pits all the way through turn 3 and 4. Then the curb went away in turns 1 and 2 because that was where basically the exit ramp for cars going out on the track. And just that bit of configuration just adds that little bit more character to this old but very lovable racetrack.
Yeah, and it's been great to see. I remember, when this track first came out on iRacing around 2020, that's when North Wilkesboro still more or less had weeds growing up out of it. And now to see where North Wilkesboro has come back to after all these years gone away, I was not alive when they ran the last Cup Series race here in 1996. I did not think in my wildest dreams that we'd ever see another major race run at North Wilkesboro, but it's the character of this place, and it's one of those places where if only this track could sit down and tell you a story that brought this place back from the dead.
Indeed. Right now, the story is on the racetrack. Ryan Nolan continuing to hold the lead, but Kyler Davis keeps poking that nose inside of him in the 6 car. We've got less than 2 laps to go. This is a battle for points, which is important for Kyler Davis, who's been well in the top 10 in points, trying to solidify his final standing, and a battle for starting position. This is going to hear the difference between who's going to start 3rd and 6th in the main event, and they've got 1 lap left, now less than a lap left to make up their minds, Nick.
Davis trying to make something happen here. Nolan's got a good car, though, and he's going to ride it through turns 3 and 4. No real big move from Davis, and Ryan Nolan is going to be your winner of heat number 3. Nolan will start 3rd here tonight in the Doug Hoar Memorial.
Kyler Davis in 2nd, Andrew Hill completing the top 3, and Nick, we're going to be doing a little something different tonight for our time in between heats and features, as we are going to be getting some cars staged on the front stretch. But while we're doing that, let's tell them quickly about our sponsors for tonight's action.
Absolutely. First premier sponsor, the presenting sponsor of the Goss Cars iACT series is GossCars.com. Michael, I mean, if you are in the market for any sort of car, there's Goss Chevy, there's Goss Dodge, there's Goss Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I mean, they got a little bit of everything going on, and plenty of different options. If you're in the market for a car, Goss is the way to go. They've got dealerships all around. Their big ones are down there in South Burlington, and they've also got Goss Chevy over at that beautiful location over in Champlain, New York. If you're in the market for a car, go give them a look. You can look at their inventory online at gosscars.com. You can go visit one of their showrooms, meet with their helpful and friendly sales staff, and they'll get you into a car or truck that fits your needs.
Remember, go, 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 Goss has got it.
Yeah, there we go.
And of course, tonight's main event sponsor is Witt's Automotive of Barrie, Vermont and Webster, Vermont, run by Tyler Whittemore. If you're familiar with racing at Thunder Road, you've seen Tyler competing in the number 74 Street Stock the last several years. Also has quite a way with cars and equipment, and he has recently opened up Witt's Automotive, where they will repair anything from lawn and garden equipment to cars and 1-ton trucks. So once you've found that beautiful car at GossCars.com, if you're in the Central Vermont area, bring it to Witt's Automotive, and they will keep it running right. Find him on Facebook. Look up Witt's Automotive LLC, and you will find some of the best car service in the Central Vermont area.
Absolutely. And also, we can't let it go unspoken that tonight our setups, as they have been all season long, are provided by RKM Setup Shop. Ryan Kuhn, the mastermind behind all the brilliant setups that we've seen all season long here on the iACT Tour. You see these cars, they're driving good, and getting around the corners well. And we saw a couple weeks ago, Michael, we saw Bob Eldred almost run an entire race without changing tires. That's because of the RKM setups underneath these race cars. And if you are into iRacing, you want to get the competitive advantage of having a great setup under your car, go check out our RKM setup shop. They've got everything you need to get you to victory lane.
Indeed, as we are just finishing up getting cars staged on the front straightaway, and we'll give it just a second here. We've got a couple of stragglers here, but we just about got everyone on the field, and then we are going to introduce you to the starting field, and we do believe we have them all here. So, Nick, we will start riding shotgun on the field. Last week's winner in the GossCars.com series, the number 46 AH Fence Company machine out of Williston. That is Justin Prescott, who will ride shotgun.
Next on the grid is a street stock competitor, longtime street stock competitor, one of the fan favorites at Thunder Road in the summertime. He comes from Pittsfield, Vermont, driving the number 79 Dodge machine. That's Juan Paco Marshall.
Then we have the car number 66, that Monster Energy machine. It has been given a kickstart all season long here on the GossCars.com iACT series, and he is going to roll off 20th on the field. The number 66, Mike Young, goes next for the Doug Hoar Memorial 146.
Next on the grid is going to be the driver of the number 46, GossCars.com. I believe that's a Chevrolet that they're running. Brian's running tonight. Coming out of Williston, Vermont, one of the legends of the American Canadian Tour, raced Busch North, 8-time ACT champion. If you were going to Thunder Road in the 2000s and even the 2010s, you know the name Brian Hoar, driving the 46 car tonight to honor his father, Doug Hoar, who's the reason why we're doing this race.
Next on the field, car number 19. That is the former late model champion at the Stafford Speedway down in Stafford Springs, Connecticut. Been running part-time on the GossCars.com iACT season, but we certainly welcome here car number 19. That is Michael Bennett going next on the grid.
Starting next up on this grid here tonight is going to be the driver of the 38 Vermont. He's won big-time races at Thunder Road, been a long-time competitor there, and now going over to race with his father at White Mountain this year, driving the 38 Vermont. That's Tyler Cahoon.
Next up, we have our number 2 point man, former street stock and late model competitor at Thunder Road, has gotten back in action here on the GossCars.com iACT series. Number 13, that is Bob Eldred rolling next on the field.
And then we've got another one of the Hoar drivers here tonight, Taylor Hoar in the 46 car, a brand new paint scheme that we saw unveiled at the Northeast Motorsports Expo over the weekend. Beautiful car if you got to see it, sponsored by New England Federal Credit Union and VSECU. Taylor Hoar in the 46.
Next up, we have a multi-time winner in the late models at Thunder Road, as well as the Flying Tigers. Car number 7, the KAS and Vermont Student Assistance Corporation, making his second start of the year on the iACT series. Out of Heinsberg, Vermont, that is Cooper Bouchard rolling off next.
Next up, we have a longtime competitor over at the Claremont Motorsports Park. He's raced in all kinds of different cars, and he's won in them too. Driving the 16Z, he's been a 100% competitor this year on the iACT Tour, Dylan Zulo.
Next up, we have car number 69. He's a strictly stock mini competitor at White Mountain. Had a very good season on the GossCars.com iACT campaign. Sits well in the top 10 in points. Car number 69, that is Aiden Young going next on the field.
And I believe the next car on the field is going to be a strictly mini driver over at White Mountain Motorsports Park. I'm pretty sure this is him, Michael, in the 92 up there next to Aiden Young. That is going to be JJ Goodboo.
You are correct. And next on the field, car number 31, a big-time Legends competitor, regular ACT late model competitor. He's even run some SK lights. He'll race anything with wheels. It's what it amounts to. Car number 31 from down in Massachusetts. That is Trent Goodrow going next on the grid.
Next up on the grid in the 43, he's going racing this year at White Mountain Motorsports Park in the Flying Tiger division. Excited to have Kyle Willis in the field tonight in the car number 43.
Then we have driving tonight the car number 07, normally the 77, but tonight the 07. This is the 3-time champion crew chief in the late models for Jason Corliss of Thunder Road, along with a former ACT Crew Chief of the Year honoree. The 07 tonight, that is Andrew Hill riding next on the grid.
And ahead of Andrew Hill is going to be the 03 of Nathan Wenzel. He's had quite a career now racing down at the Monadnock Speedway, a NASCAR Regional Series champion last year. Racing the 03 tonight, that's Nate Wenzel.
Starting sixth will be car number 6, a multi-time street stock winner over at the Thunder Road Speed Bowl. And he is a winner this year on the GossCars.com iACT series out of Berlin, Vermont. That is Kyler Davis.
And then next on the field here, I believe this is Matt Smith. Is this Matt Smith?
Yes, it is.
He is the former late model competitor up at Thunder Road. You can still find him there regularly on Thursday nights in the summertime. A racer through and through, Matt Smith in the 04.
Next up, we have the CrossCars.com ACT point leader and the reigning king of the mountain at the White Mountain Motorsports Park, trying to secure another championship tonight, starting fourth on the grid. Car number 45, the Poulsen Lumber Machine out of St. Johnsbury, Vermont. That is Casey Beatty.
Starting third on the grid, we've called him the hard luck driver of 2024, former ACT Thunder Road competitor. That signature green and blue number 78. Give it up for Ryan Nolan.
Then we get to our front row. On the outside, feature winner this year on the GossCars.com series, multi-time feature winner at Thunder Road Speed Bowl, going to be an ACT Tour rookie this season. The Tropical Storm in car number 18 from Shelburne, Vermont is Caden Fisher.
And starting on the pole, the 2023 late model Rookie of the Year at White Mountain Motorsports Park. He's been a strong competitor all season long. He's been here every race that he hasn't had basketball. Starting on the pole, number 17, Kyle Goodboo.
That is your starting grid for the Witz Automotive Doug Hoar Memorial number 146, 22 cars strong for 146 laps of action. Nick, I am personally very excited. We're going to have a couple of pace laps here. In the meantime, what do you think the keys are going to be to this race?
Well, there's a lot of keys on the line here. I mean, if you're looking at the championship picture, Casey Beatty and Bob Eldred are both going to be strong competitors in this race, but it's going to be interesting to see how they race this one out. But I think it's important before this race gets going to give everybody a picture why we're racing, why we're doing this big special event to end the 2024 virtual racing season, and it's to honor Doug Hoar, who is the patriarch of the Hoar family, Brian's dad, Justin's grandfather, Taylor's grandfather, a racing legend in Vermont, former Milk Bowl segment winner. If you were around the 90s, you knew who he was. And Michael, he passed away just a couple of weeks ago, and we're all terribly sad about it. But we're very glad that we can honor his legacy by putting on this race here tonight.
Indeed, that's a good way to put it. Sad that he's gone, but glad to carry on his name here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. And definitely pointing that out. And that Doug Hoar, definitely a patriarch, for now what is now a third generation racing family, but also a pretty good shoe in his own right. He actually didn't start racing until his mid 40s, but if you were around Airborne in the 90s, you knew who Doug Hoar was. It was in 1994, Nick, that Doug won 4 late model sportsman races in one season at Airborne. Very nearly won a championship that year. And tonight we race in his name for 146 laps. 46, that was the number. You won above Brian's 45, and I can't think of a better place to pay tribute to a man who had such a big role in so many ways on the Northeast and ACT racing scene.
Absolutely. And in Doug's honor, tonight's race, like we've mentioned, 146 laps. All the Hoar drivers tonight, Brian, Taylor, Justin Prescott, they're all racing number 46. The race pays out $146 to the winner. That's our biggest prize of the entire season. We've got a big one here tonight, and we are green.
Green flag is out as they barrel off into turns 1 and 2. The 18, Caden Fisher, puts a nose up on the outside, but back comes the 17 of Kyle Goodboe as they are 2 by 2 at the front of the pack.
Side by side to the stripe, it's Fisher and it's Goodboe side by side looking for the race lead. Beatty settling into third. Nolan looks like he's going to be content with fourth right now, and Matt Smith tucking into fifth position.
Yeah, yes, from fifth on back, they're looking kind of content. We do see some side by side, but nobody really forcing the issue at this point. They know it is a very long race, 146 laps around a 5/8 of a mile track. This is a long one, and you definitely got to have some car left at the end of this one. But right as I say that, here comes Casey Beatty looking to the outside for the second spot on Kyle Goodboe.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of money on the line tonight, a lot on the line for in terms of the championship. I don't think anybody's really interested in tearing up their stuff here on lap 4 as these drivers try to settle in, see what they have for a car here early on in these runs, how they can fire off. Beatty clearly can fire off really well as he is going to clear Goodboe and take second place here on lap 5.
Casey Beatty, unofficially following the heat race, comes into this one with a 27-point lead over the 13 of Bob Eldred. So unofficially, even if Bob Eldred were to win this race, Casey Beatty could take the championship with an 11th place finish. Of course, if Bob Eldred wins and Casey Beatty finishes 12th, then they're tied and might have to fire up another computer just to figure out the tiebreakers. We don't know if it'll come to that, but certainly, it is the possibility.
Hey, that would be good for the excitement factor, right? But probably not the nerves of either of those two drivers.
Indeed, as things are pretty well sorted out. We're taking a look right now at the 04 of Matt Smith, who rounds out this 5-car nose-to-tail train at the front of the track. Behind him, though, things are a little bit of action here. You see the 31 of Goodrow looking to the inside of Dylan Zulo, and the 92 of J.J. Goodboe looking strong early as well in this one, Nick, as they lean on each other behind him. J.J. Goodboe, I actually ran into him at the Vermont Motorsports Expo this weekend, and he was like, yeah, it seems just like I'm getting in the way and making people angry. But so far, he seems to have found something tonight, having a strong run so far in the 8th position.
Well, he's got things going for him here early on. We saw Trent Goodrow and Dylan Zulo kind of battling it out there behind him. Zulo's going to fall back a little bit. We saw them make contact, and I think Goodrow kind of caught the curb there as we were talking about. We've been talking about that all night, and I think we're going to continue to talk about it. So these guys try to get everything through turn 3 and 4, try to get that low exit. You don't want to get too tied up close to the wall or really slide the tires on corner exit. You see Zulo there catching the grass, but you see when you catch the grass, it doesn't affect you as much as when you hit that curb there in turns 3 and 4. You really want to stay away from that thing.
Indeed. I mean, you remember, Nick, the old grass tire cooling trick that was all the rage here in iRacing? I wonder if clipping the grass might help a little here, because each driver does get a set of tires to change at some point in this race, but it is a very long race. I mean, even 75 laps, if you get to halfway, just past halfway, that is a lot of wear and tear on what here in iRacing is a very abrasive North Wilkesboro surface. So even knowing you've got tires in the pits, you've really got to take care of them even early in the going, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be taking care of tires until 20 laps to go. Realistically, in this race, you don't want to get too aggressive on them. And we're going to see guys that, will run up front here and really push their cars. And then once the end of the run comes up, they're going to be sliding back through the field. Their car is going to be practically undrivable as these tires continue to wear if you bully your tires right now. You've got to be very careful to maintain what you have and preserve keep your car going at a steady level for an entire run rather than starting off really strong and then fading away, because when you fade here it's not pretty, and I'm sure we'll see it at some point.
Indeed, but for these drivers who started around mid-pack, the Trent Goodrows, the Andrew Hills of the world, you can see having to find the balance between gaining some positions now versus what the tire cost might be here later. You see, Trent Goodrow has been making some moves early in this one, rides in the 8th spot, currently working on the '03 of Wenzel for 7th, but we'll find out, in 40 or 50 laps or so, whether making these moves early in the race could potentially hinder him on the back end. I suppose only time will tell.
Yeah, and I mean, these guys are going to learn a lot on this first stint here of, what are the limitations of the tires. I think a lot of these drivers are going to take stock in how this first run goes is, how much can I put on these tires, and, where will it leave me, when it comes time to change a set or at the end of a tire cycle. Do I need to take a little bit off on the second segment? Do I need to, push a little harder because I thought I had a little bit left there at the end? That's going to be stuff that these guys are learning right now. And as this race kind of progresses here through the first probably 75, 80 laps.
But even then, Nick, as drivers trying to take care of your cars, we take a look out the back end of the Ryan Nolan machine, and you can see Kyler Davis already got some scars on the right front of that machine. Clearly not slowing down the car any, but this is a track that it will come up and bite you. Even if you're trying to take care of the car, it will come bite you when you least expect it, as Kyler Davis does look to the inside, though, like we said, clearly not slowing him down at all.
And Wenzel getting up there on the top side here as well. That's going to be the other thing to watch. We talk about tires. The top lane, the lanes here are going to be very interesting to watch too, because that top lane, like I mentioned, on a racetrack that doesn't have a bunch of rubber laid down, like in the heat races, you can, if you run perfectly, you can make that top work. As the tires wear out and as the rubber lays down on the racetrack, the outside lane might get a little bit faster than the inside lane. So we're going to see guys testing that out as well here. And you see Wenzel's making some ground up there on the top. He's got past Davis, and now he's working on Matt Smith for 5th.
And part of it just comes down to going where other people aren't. If everyone is fighting for the bottom, and that could potentially be slowing them up a little bit as they fight for the bottom, you've got a clear lane there. If you can even make it kind of work out there, you can gain a lot of spots. We did see that with Trent Goodrow, picked up a few spots on the outside while everyone else was fighting for the bottom. Nathan Wenzel in front of him, Andrew Hill, the 07 behind him, now trying to do the same.
Oh, Wenzel tried to take the gap that wasn't really there. Chops off the nose of the 6 of Davis. Davis now squarely down the backstretch, getting kind of freight trained here on the top side now. He had to get way out of the gas and save that thing, as Wenzel kind of just came down the racetrack in front of him, trying to get to the bottom, but Davis was there. Kyler Davis does a great job holding on to that thing.
Indeed. We'll go inside the cockpit now of the 7 of Cooper Bouchard. We now got 27 laps into this event, and we're going to start looking and see how these drivers are working these cars. So far, the 7 of Bouchard still looking fairly smooth in that 7 machine on the inside, but I'm thinking as we get closer and closer to the end of the tire run, Nick, we're going to see those hands moving around a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be parts of the racetrack where you go to turn your car and it whips around on you. And there's going to be other parts of the racetrack where you go to turn and it's going to feel like you have, 20,000 pounds of lead there on the right front, and it's going to snowplow up into the turn 4 wall. As these tires get done, this track is very, very difficult to drive on old tires. I mean, we saw Bob Eldred a couple of weeks ago make that really impressive run to nearly win at Nashville without changing tires. You're not going to be able to do that tonight. The track itself just is so abrasive that it becomes so difficult once those tires are worn out to just get your car around the racetrack in a circle.
Indeed, and while when NASCAR heads there for the All-Star race this May, they'll be racing on fresh asphalt. But here in iRacing, it's still that old abrasive surface from when the track was scanned. So you have got to fight these cars and fight them hard. Because we're going to check in here towards the back half of the top 10. The 13 of Bob Eldred very steadily making some progress. The 13 car is now up to 9th, looking for another spot on the inside of Andrew Hill, as now he's though going to swap lanes the 13 of Eldred, again, having to fight that balance of knowing he's got to get to the front and knowing he's still got to have some car left when he gets to the front. Obviously, the setback in the heat race was not what he was looking for, but he is looking solid early in that number 13.
Yeah, the name of the game for him is just going to be patience. Let the race come to you. You see a lane, take it. Don't push too hard, but you got to get up to the front because Casey Beatty is just kind of hanging out up there right now. Doesn't need to push to get past Caden Fisher. Just needs to hang out where he is. Just not have any problems. Bob Eldred, it's going to be a much tougher night for him because he's got to battle his way to the front through all of this traffic. You see him; he's making up ground, and he has been all race. But he's got a lot of ground to make up still, and he can't be too difficult on the tires here.
And as we're talking, Nick, the top two cars of Fisher and Beatty still seem content to ride nose to tail, but behind them, things have picked up. You see Ryan Nolan, the 17, working to the inside of Kyle Goodboe. You see Nathan Wenzel trying to move up the outside in the 13. If drivers feel like they've been waiting long enough, and now they're going to try and make a few moves here as we approach the quarter pole of this main event.
Yeah, absolutely. Fisher continuing to lead. Beatty in second. Goodboe third. Ryan Nolan fourth and Matt Smith fifth. Not a lot has changed, but up front here, from 5th to 10th, I suppose, is really getting interesting as Goodrow is holding on to the spot right now. Wenzel is there. Got the 13 of Eldred trying to make some moves. As we see, I think we got Wenzel here blinking in and out. Kyler Davis has moved up to the top side here. This is where the interesting racing is. It's not where I would want to be trying to fight guys for position when, a lot of those guys, that top 5, they're just conserving tires right now.
Indeed, and the fact that they're able to run as right as we talk about, we see the 78 of Nolan under attack from Matt Smith, but the real benefit, we're going to feel, those top 3 seem to be the ones right now. Fisher, Beatty, and Goodboe. The fact that they're able to basically run nose to tail, not have to fight everyone, by saving tires, Nick, it's going to give them some more options, but the caution is out here on lap 41.
We have our first
and
yellow.
It looks like it is
day.
For the 07 of Andrew Hill.
Yeah, Andrew Hill spinning the red and yellow number 07 machine off of turn number 4, it looks like. We'll see how he might have gotten
here
there.
And see what happened.
Slides up, a little bit of a tap from Cooper Bouchard, and around he goes.
Yeah, it looks like he it possibly could have checked up a bit off the turn to avoid washing up into the 6 of Davis, and the 7 of Bouchard was there.
Yeah, and these cars, are so light, off the corners that it is, a little bump there, and that's a very vulnerable spot for your race car here. On the exit of 2 and the exit of 4, you get hit there, you're more than likely going around.
Indeed, and it looks like pretty much everybody is staying out on this caution. We do see the 79 of Paco Marshall on pit road, but looks like everyone deciding lap 41, 42 a little bit too early to start talking about strategy.
Yeah, I would hope so. Anybody pitting with still 105 laps to go in the race, that would be a questionable decision for sure. Your car'd be real fast for a little bit. Come end of the race, you would be begging for another set of tires at this point. We've still got another 40 laps before I would really even consider it, because I don't want my car to be driving terribly at the end, right? Like, we get down to it. There's a restart with 5 laps to go. I want to have something left in my car to be able to make a move for the win. So I am trying to take this first set of tires here as far as I can, just to maximize the effectiveness of your second set.
Indeed, and that's something we've talked about all season here on the GossCars.com iACT series, is fresh tires versus track position. We've seen track position come in handy, but at a track like this where A, the tires are so abrasive, and B, you do have 2 legitimate racing lines, it's a lot easier to find some room if you've got fresh tires. Definitely feels like staying out as long as possible is going to be the play tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And you just want to have something at the end. You don't want your car to be undrivable when you're going to make a move for the win. There's a lot on the line here tonight. There's championship, the big $146 prize. I mean, there's everyone in this field has a motivation to win this race tonight, whether it's your championship or the cash. So everybody's going to be trying to make the biggest, best strategy move possible. And Micah, I wouldn't be shocked here if we see some guys try to go off strategy to try to get that track position once we get closer to the finish.
Indeed, but and also just going to matter how the cautions fall, because you can have a great strategy in your brain, but if the cautions don't fall the right way to make it work, then you've got to go to plan B.
Absolutely, and sometimes even plan C and D.
Indeed. But we are ready to get back going racing here. Caden Fisher chooses the outside in the 18. Casey Beatty lines up to his inside. Then we've got Kyle Goodboe, Matt Smith, Ryan Nolan, and Trent Goodrow as they head for the back straightaway.
Wow, Nolan made a big move there to get to the top side, kind of forced his way up onto the outside, saw a little bit of a gap, and took it. Now, I'm interested here to see if Beatty gets down on the inside of Fisher, if he can make a move for the lead, see if Casey wants to lead some laps at this juncture of the race. Fisher, Beatty's been content letting Fisher lead thus far. I think if there's a move to be made, though, as we see problems for Cooper Bouchard in the 7 machine, not sure what happened there, but he's going to make his way to pit road as the 45 and the 18 continue to fight side by side on lap number 44.
Indeed, and I'm on the other side of this, Nick. You mentioned Casey might try to lead some laps, but I'm actually a little surprised he hasn't pulled it back in line now, simply knowing what's on the line tonight. And under our point system, there are no lap leader bonuses. It's just the 75 to win, 68, 66, and so on. And Casey Beatty, knowing he's got such a healthy lead, that is something you fight as a driver versus wanting to get out there and lead and just not doing anything that could potentially jeopardize a shot at a championship that you have worked all season to earn. But they are getting real close in 1 and 2, so maybe that racer's mentality is just taking over. Oh, we see trouble off of turn 2. Caution flag is out in this one, and had trouble off of turn 2. We are going to back it up and see what we can find here. A little bit of a bump between Brian Hoar and JJ Goodboe, and the field behind him, no real place to go, and things start collecting. The 19 of Michael Bennett gets a shot. The 07 of Andrew Hill gets in there. Things erupt, and we are back under the caution.
All right, sorry about that. We just had technical difficulties over here as my computer decided to shut itself off, or my computer screen decided to shut itself off, and conveniently that's the screen that we're streaming the race from. So sorry about the black picture there for a second, folks, but we are back. And Michael, we found a caution flag here again. I see. Take us through what happened, because we did not see it.
I did my best to describe it. What happened was the 46 of Brian Hoar was on the tail of JJ Goodboe in turn 1 and 2, and just the 46 just got into the back of him. Not sure if the 92 checked up early or what happened there, but they got together. The 19 of Michael Bennett got a little bump and spun around from the 07 of Andrew Hill, and they were trying to check up, but everybody able to drive it away, and we are back under caution. And according to scoring, when the caution came out, the 45 of Casey Beatty is your leader.
All right, well, there we have it, and Casey Beatty's found his way to the lead. So for now, he'll be out in front. We'll see if he's able to hold on to that lead, and you see Goodboe and Matt Smith in there. Smith has worked his way up to 4th on that restart as well. So a quick little green flag run there, and we're getting ready to get back going again here. But Beatty and Fisher are going to switch sides here for this restart, and we'll see how they do on opposite sides of the racetrack.
Well, they're going to switch sides, assuming Casey Beatty chooses the outside like Caden Fisher. We still have not seen yet what's going to happen.
I think at this point you would want to take the outside, but we will find out here. Beatty was able to make that move happen, but the lights are out. There he goes. Outside is the place to be, and that's where Casey Beatty is going to take the spot.
We'll take you very quickly through the top 10 as we get ready to go. The 45 Beatty, your leader, then Caden Fisher, the 18, is second. Kyle Goodboo has 3 third-place finishes this year and runs third here tonight. Then we've got the 04 Matt Smith, the 78 Ryan Nolan, 31 of Trent Goodrow, then Nathan Wenzel, your number 2 point man Bob Eldred, Kyler Davis, and Dylan Zulo will round out your top 10 as we head back to the restart on lap 47.
Fisher and Beatty side by side as they have been for so much of this iACT Tour season. And Fisher trying to get something going. Beatty with the jump on the outside. Fisher will even it up off the corner. Matt Smith trying to clear Goodboo for third.
They go wheel to wheel off of turn 4. The inside right now is the place to be as the 18 of Fisher leads that lap by a nose. But behind him, the outside is the place to be as Matt Smith has a nose up on the 17 of Kyle Goodboo. So we're definitely seeing that it has less to do with what line you're in at this point, seemingly, and more to just good with how your car is driving.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Beatty's going to settle in now into second place. A lot of these guys, still trying to figure out what they have underneath it here as we approach the 50 lap mark. Smith still trying to work the outside. Beatty settled in down low, and now he might come up and try to block. Oh, and he's caught 3 wide. Look out! Beatty in the wall. Matt Smith took him there as they got collected. Beatty's in trouble. The green flag is going to stay out. Everybody kept it straight. Beatty couldn't decide which lane he wanted to block, and ultimately it cost him.
Oh, man, and that is potentially huge in our championship picture, Nick, because not only does the 45 of Beatty lose a bunch of spots, but you can see he punched in the right front fender on that car really well. Seems to have gathered it back in, but loses a ton of spots unofficially back to 11th as the number 2 point man of Bob Eldred is now up to 5th, and we've got a battle for the lead in front of him as Kyle Goodboo going forward in the 17.
Goodboo taking advantage of the chaos to make the move on Caden Fisher. He's got the lead. Now Goodrow trying to sneak underneath Fisher, but Fisher dives back down low, trying to get back in there, but Goodboo is away with the top spot. Trent Goodrow into third, Ryan Nolan up to fourth. But I'll tell you, Mike, we saw Matt Smith. He's fallen back to 13th. Beatty's back to 11th. Both those guys, such a tough break. And you could see there, Matt really lifted up out of the gas. Beatty kind of got caught on his right front fender, and they were going for that ride. Matt tried to keep it from being a ride that ended both of their races. But, just a tough spot there. Smith gave him the lift, but it still just wasn't enough. That was just a tough spot for Beatty.
Yeah, I've seen that happen before, where if someone's left front gets hooked on someone's right rear, it doesn't matter how much the car behind lifts. It doesn't matter how much the car in front turns, as we see a bump here for the second spot.
The bump and run.
Those cars are just going to shoot right to finish the thought, but things getting aggressive here for the number 2 spot as the 31 Goodrow gets into the back of Fisher, and now Bob Eldred trying to get a twofer.
Of course, Bob Eldred has magically appeared in 4th place, as he always does in this series, and he is not waiting around. He's going inside of Trent Goodrow. Caden Fisher running way up top. Fisher and Goodrow played door slam in turn 3 as Eldred tried to hold on to the spot. Goodrow there says no way, gives him the door down the front stretch, and back into turn 1 and 2 they go. Eldred with the advantage now as Fisher's going to lose a couple of more spots. Caden Fisher dropping back to 4th and maybe further here on this restart.
Well, the 13 of Bob Eldred, I'm pretty sure, Nick, senses an opportunity. He saw what happened to Casey Beatty. Beatty unofficially riding in the 10th spot. You see him back up to the rear of this pack. But Bob Eldred knows the door is open, and he is going to try and punch his way through as the caution is back out
big
again
one in
here in
turn
this
3.
one.
There's all sorts of cars involved in that mess over there up in 3.
Yep, trying to find him here. But yeah, trouble erupting in this one. We'll back it up here and see if we can figure out what's going on. Oh yeah, it looks like the 04 of Matt Smith was part of this one. As we try and find him on our ticker. Indeed.
Yeah. I don't know how many people were involved in that. I think Matt Smith might have just got turned around.
Yeah, well, we're gonna happen. It does take a little bit to get sorted here, and but it looks.
Let's see, contact with Mike Young, and then just gets run over by Andrew Hill. Tyler Cahoon piles in. Brian Hoar getting through in the 46. And Matt Smith with the Kyle Busch driving it backwards down the track.
And Nick,
you see Casey Beatty's on pit road.
Indeed, and I'm not seeing the jack go up on the 45, so it could be a case of saving his tires and just trying to fix some of the damage from that wreck. But definitely a very interesting development here.
Yeah, for sure. We can see what happens here with Beatty. Remember, we mentioned it earlier on in the show. Unofficially, if Bob Eldred wins this race, he's currently P2. Casey Beatty has to finish 11th or better to guarantee the championship. Seeing here, I think Beatty's down on pit road right now using, the caution laps do not count in these races. I think he's down there trying to get as much damage fixed as he can under this caution flag, because you don't get a fast repair in this series, but you can come down to pit road and let your virtual pit crew go to work on your car. It takes significantly longer, but if he does some repairs now, that car might get up to the point where it's better driving. But nonetheless, we have some championship drama here.
Indeed, we see several other cars on pit road, the 07 of Andrew Hill among them. And yeah, Casey Beatty, I guess he had worked his way back up in the top 10, but figuring now that just trying to get some work done on that car is worth potentially giving up a few spots. And there are still 87 laps to go, so still plenty of time to cycle things through here. But it looked like he was on easy street, and all of a sudden the things have gotten quite interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting here as the field doubles up. Beatty might lose laps here, because if you get locked in and it says you have 5 minutes of optional repairs, you've got to sit there while it does the optional repairs. Okay, so now he's gotten away. I'm sure that he had some sort of damage to the structure of that race car that was going to make it difficult to hang around in the top 10, especially once everybody got fresh tires. So that's probably why he came on pit road. But we are back green. Kyle Goodboe out in front, but maybe not for long. Bob Eldred trying to take the advantage now on the top side.
Bob Eldred, the 13, knows that his best chance is winning the race because of that 5 bonus points that comes with it. Couldn't make it work on the outside that time, tucks it back into line in second, but definitely don't think we've seen the last of the 13 trying to go for the lead in this one. Is behind him, Caden Fisher trying to make up some ground. Touches the rear of the 31 of Goodrow, but everybody hangs on to
it. I think Caden owed Trent one there on that bump and run. We saw Trent give him the shot there on that last run, and now Fisher a little bit kinder of a tap to the back bumper of the 31, but still letting him know that he's there, and probably did not appreciate getting moved from second place earlier on here in this race.
Well, he let him know he's there, but the momentum he lost from it has dropped him back into a battle for the 4th spot. Does now look like he's going to clear the 78 of Ryan Nolan, but trying to get things sorted again. As behind him, look who has showed up at the party. The 46, the black and yellow 46 of Justin Prescott, had to start dead last in this one because of the previous winner's penalty for his victory last week. And he is battling with Nathan Wenzel, taking over the number 6 position.
Yeah, Prescott having another strong run here. You saw him get that incredible victory last week at Thompson, and trying to make it 2 for 2. Nobody's won 2 races yet on the iACT Tour schedule. This is race number 8. Still waiting for our first multi-time winner. 7 different winners in 7 races to kick off the year. And we'll see if we can end one with a different winner tonight, or if Justin Prescott or one of the other 7 winners from earlier this season gets their second win of the year.
Well, at the front, we have 3 drivers. The 17 of Goodboo, the 13 of Eldred have not been to Victory Circle. Trent Goodrow has the points for a victory, but it was actually Reagan Parent subbing for him that race. So if Trent Goodrow wins this race, I'm going to go ahead and count it as an 8th different winner, Nick. How about you?
I think we can go ahead and count that.
Back in the pack, we see the battle, at least was, between the 6 and the 16, Davis and Zulo. Davis able to get that 8th spot and not too far behind them. We see the 45 of Casey Beatty, who restarted 17th, has worked his way back up to the 12th position. Now looking to the outside of Brian Hoar as the 45 Beatty trying to come back from that unfortunate excursion earlier, seems to be working well in the top groove.
Yeah, absolutely. As he is working his way around here, trying to get outside of Brian Hoare in the 46. Unable to really make anything happen right now. You got to wonder, because, I mean, we saw Beatty earlier, just kind of riding around, letting the tires get in, not doing anything too crazy. Well, now he's in a position where he has to push a little bit harder than he was earlier on in the race. Now we're getting lap 70, lap 71, where your tires are probably not going to be too happy with you at this point in the run. What is he able to do right now, and how much does he want to put on that race car? As we see Trent Goodrow is sliding backwards, Caden Fisher going up to 3rd. Gotta wonder, maybe there was a little bit of contact there.
Well, we'll never know now, but what we do know is that the 18 of Nolan and the 46 of Justin Prescott are trying to go through the open door. The 78 Nolan gets clear of Goodrow for 4th, and here comes the 46 of Justin Prescott from dead last on the 22-car starting field, taking over the number 5 position as we are halfway next time by in the Witts Automotive 146.
Prescott into the top 5 as we look back up here at the front. Still Goodboo and Eldred, but Fisher has gotten within 0.8 of a second of the race lead, and you can see that number on the left side of your screen continuing to go down as he tries to make up some ground here. He was the leader early on in this race, got shuffled a little bit there at the midpoint of this tire run, and now as we get towards the end of this tire cycle, Caden Fisher giving it one last gasp with those tires as he tries to make his way to the front.
Indeed, and I'm sure a lot of these drivers, as we have the blimp here on the 8th through 12th position, Wenzel leading this pack, and there is a caution, Nick.
There's your caution right here at lap 76, just past halfway, 4th one of the day, and you gotta wonder. I bet you we'll see some guys trying to come in down the pit road this time.
Indeed, not sure what happened there. Haven't been able to locate the cause of the caution, but the point is, and they always see some cars coming in, Nick. We see the 46 Prescott, 31 of Goodrow, 03 Nathan Wenzel among the cars deciding the time is now to come into the pits.
Yeah, and they're going to be the guys that we'll be watching here for the rest of this one, as Beatty's going to come in too, I believe. And we'll see if the jack goes up on the 45 car. You would assume that it would, unless he's going to, take some more time to work on the damage on that car. Everybody else here for sure going to take tires. I don't think Casey is here. No. We'll see. But
no, we do see tires going on the 31 of Goodrow, the 16 of Dylan Zulo, the 46 of Prescott. But I have not seen a jack go under the 45 of Casey Beatty. So a very interesting strategy move here from the 45.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get some more, time off that damage clock. Just, get some more of it repaired, and get that car as close as he can to 100% to get back out there and still have a shot at the championship. Casey Beatty right now, his mind is no longer on winning this race. It is winning the championship at all costs. And, giving yourself the best car, with still a ways to go in this race. Give yourself the best car to drive up through the field, and try to get into that, probably at this point, top 10 to 12 run that he would need to win the championship.
And here's another factor I'm thinking about, Nick. He knows the 13 is his closest competitor. I'm thinking that one factor in Casey Beatty's mind might be is that he does not want to have older tires than the 13 at the end of the race. He wants to be at least on the same cycle, or potentially even a later cycle than him, because you lose a few positions, with 70 to go, you have time to make them up. You're losing positions with 10 to go and you're on old tires. I mean, that's not a position I don't think anybody wants to be in.
Yeah, for sure. You want to have everything under your control at the end of this race, and putting yourself behind the 8 ball in the tires will not help you be control your own destiny, if you will, as this race gets closer and closer to the end. But we've seen Bob Eldred might just outweight Casey Beatty, because we've seen him go so long on a set of tires before that we thought he was crazy, and he still wound up getting a top 3. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here as we get back going to green.
It could be the ultimate game of chicken to decide the championship, Nick, as the green flag comes back out. It is the 13 of Bob Eldred getting the jump off the outside, and he goes to the point. Kyle Goodboe having a little more trouble coming up to speed on the inside this time, as here comes the 78 of Nolan looking on his top side.
Eldred away with the lead. We've seen, I think we can call him the master of racing on old tires at this point, as he takes the advantage. Ryan Nolan steadily in the top 3 right here, having another strong run in that 78 machine. Caden Fisher trying to hold on to 4th, but here's a new name to the top 5 that we haven't talked about tonight. Aiden Young in the 69 Young Gun Creations machine is up to 5th in battling with Caden Fisher on the outside.
Indeed. Aiden Young has very quietly had an impressive season here on the iACT circuit. Got his first top 5 a couple of weeks ago, has several other top 10 finishes, has acquitted himself very well to this series, and he finds himself having another strong run here in 5th spot as we close in on lap number 80. Behind him, to look who's coming now, the 46 of Brian Hoar, bouncing back from that earlier spin. He is to the outside of Kyler Davis, looking for the 6th spot.
Yeah, Brian Hoar is slowly but surely made his way up through the field tonight. You see Matt Smith behind him back into the top 10 as well. Smith had a lot of damage on that 04 machine earlier on in the event, but has gotten that taken care of seemingly, and is back up into position here as get a 3-car battle for this spot.
Indeed, is the 04 of Smith, the 43 Kyle Willis starting to get in the mix as well. And we brought up our battle box here so you can see when cars last pitted. Now, these lap 59 cars, we're not 100% sure if they took tires.
Caution.
The Wenzel
Caution
and
flag.
Prescott did is, yes, the caution flag is out on the speedway.
We'll see what that might be for. Maybe Michael Bennett being involved there in the 19.
We'll back it up very quickly, but not too far, because we could potentially be seeing some more pit stops.
Yep.
Looks like it happens just. Yep, looks like some contact between Zulo and Taylor Hoare. Bennett and Goodboe, unfortunately, with nowhere to go there.
Yep. Well, let's see. Eldred stays out.
We
Maybe
do see Matt Smith coming in the 04.
Yeah.
The 07 of Andrew Hill going to head down pit road as well.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, these guys are going to bring it out as long as they can. I mean, realistically, that's what we've got here. These guys are going to wait it out, wait out the competition. Eldred in the lead's probably going to set the tone when it comes to staying out on the old tires. But, who's going to be the first to, come down? I think when we see one of those guys in the top 3, top 4 make that move, a lot of people are going to follow him.
Indeed, as we said, it's the last green flag come out. It has kind of become a game of chicken among these top competitors. So no one here wants to be the first one to duck into the pits, and they are going to wait as long as he can. If we end up with a long green flag run here, things could get very interesting.
Oh, for sure. That's the last thing you want right now is to get caught on a long green flag run at this point, because then you're going to be battling. Is it more beneficial to come in and get new tires or give up the track position? You don't want to get to that point where there's 30, 40 laps to go and you don't really have a whole lot of time to drive up back through the field. If you were to come get new tires, it's a dangerous game that these guys are playing, but it could pay off for them, and there's a lot on the line tonight, as we've mentioned.
Indeed, as they continue to circulate under this caution on lap 83 of the Witz Automotive Doug Hoar Memorial event. We're taking a look overhead the blimp, and we see the 03 of Nathan Wenzel and the 04 of Justin Prescott. They are running in 10th and 11th. Those are the highest running cars that we know have taken tires here in this event. Maybe 9th and 10th, actually. Yes, that's 9th and 10th. And running 12th behind him, who is not pitted, is the 45 of Casey Beatty. And obviously, we've still got a lot of laps left, Nick, but as they run, it would be a dead heat between the 13 and the 45 for the championship.
Of course it would, right?
Why wouldn't it be?
And that's the thing. I don't even think that we have a set tiebreaker for this series to determine what it would be. We would have to have discussions about that if it was a tie. So
I think it would be the same thing as real life, where you go by number of wins, then number of second place finishes, and so on down the field.
Michael Stridsberg is the master of settling tiebreakers, so at least we're in good hands there. As we take the green flag again, it is Good Boo and the 13 of Eldred there on the outside, battling side by side for the race lead. We're also going to keep one eye on the back of the field and see what Casey Beatty can do. If he can get into the top 10 here, the talk about tiebreakers is moot.
Indeed, as they continue to go side by side. You saw Eldred took the outside after getting such a great jump on the previous restart, but Kyle Goodboo doing a lot better on the inside this time around, and he is going to lead that lap by about a radiator cap. Things are certainly heating up behind him as well. You got the 6 of Kyler Davis looking to the inside of Nolan, and side by side between Aiden Young and Brian Hoare for the number 6 spot. All throughout the field, people are starting to get busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the time of the race where everybody's kind of on the end of their tires. There's going to be let it all hang out here and see what you can do to try to get some track position before the next caution flag, as Goodboo taking the lead here in a big move from Bob Eldred to get down to the inside. Eldred all the way down there trying to make something happen in the 13. Fisher trying to get up to the top side here and take the spot away from Bob Eldred.
Indeed, Bob Eldred is driving like a guy who has nothing to lose, and he really does have nothing to lose. If he can somehow win this thing and take home the championship, great. If he wins the thing and doesn't take home the championship, he's got $146 coming to him, which could buy a lot of months on iRacing. He's fallen back into the clutches right now, though, of Caden Fisher as they go wheel to wheel for the number 2 position.
Now they're fighting it out for this spot on the racetrack. Ryan Nolan is there in 4th, and looks like the 6 of Davis is settled into 5th. Fisher's making that top side work, and like I said, don't count him out of this thing. We saw him lead laps early, got shuffled to the back. Now he's, right here, back up in second place again. And Eldred's car might be starting to fall off a little bit because he just doesn't have, it's not packing the punch that he was earlier. And now look at this. We got the 45 car. He's up to 8th.
Casey Beatty, an encounter with the wall, multiple pit stops. I mean, we saw, it doesn't slow him down. We saw him come back from 2 laps down a couple of weeks ago to nearly win. Nothing seems to phase this kid out of St. Johnsbury as he is all the way back up to the number 7 position and setting his sights on Brian Hoare.
He made those stops, got that car fixed up, and now he's going to be in a prime spot to where, he can make a charge at this and get those tires on the car and see what he has left. I mean, we know he's got a really quick race car, but just has it's been a nightmare race for him so far, but he's trying to mitigate it. And right now, up to 6th place as he gets around Hoar here, at least gets the advantage right now. 6th place, there's nothing that Bob Eldred could do, even if he won the race, to win the championship. So Beatty still, everything, he's had everything thrown at him here tonight, but he still controls his own destiny here on lap 94.
Indeed, trying to make this move work as fast as possible as they get real close entering the corner, and that may be what the 45 of Beatty needs. And indeed, he clears Brian Hoar off of the turn and takes over the 6th spot. Nathan Wenzel and Justin Prescott, who we know have changed tires, are going to try and go to work on him now. But the 45 of Beatty, you can see already pulling away from this group and setting his sights on the front 5.
Yep, absolutely. And back up front, Goodboo has got about a 0.4 of a second advantage on Caden Fisher and Bob Eldred, as Eldred has kind of settled in here on this restart, but we saw him get shuffled just a little bit, settling back in here in 3rd spot. But we know right now that won't be enough to get this championship or the race win here tonight. There's a lot on the line for these guys, especially the 13 and the 45.
Indeed, but everybody else here wants to get a win, wants to get a top finish too. It's not a heads-up match. They've got 20 other cars to compete with, and as we look here in the middle of the pack, we're going to take a look here. We have got a battle of youngs for the number 12 position. It's young bragging rights. We got Aiden on the inside. We got Mike on the outside. And it looks like it is going to be Mike getting the edge off of the corner.
Yep. Aiden Young kind of slipping back a little bit on this restart. We saw him up in the top 5 earlier on. Trying to find the good balance there on that 69 machine.
And ahead of him, things getting feisty up here. The 03 of Wenzel going to look to the outside of the 46 of Justin Prescott. You've got Willis and Goodrow in it as well. All this action, though, is happening well behind our leaders. The 17 of Goodboo has opened up to about a half-second lead, and just a little bit at a time, Casey Beatty is closing in on that gap. You can see on our tower on the left, it's down to just under 2 seconds as we have passed lap 100 in this one.
Yeah, and at this point, these guys are just riding it out, hoping for a caution. We're getting to that point, like I mentioned earlier on, where, you don't want to get to a spot in this race where you don't have time to go get tires and drive your way back up through the field. These guys are hoping, praying for a yellow flag here as Beatty is looking for a spot in the top 5. How about this comeback from Casey Beatty, all the way from being in the wall and being down on pit road for multiple laps trying to get that damage fixed, and now the 45 car, as if there was any doubt, he's up into the top 5 once again.
Indeed, as you could see, this front pack has broken apart as drivers' cars start to fall off, as they just realize they cannot push these cars any further. And that's just making things easier for Casey Beatty as he slices his way through. Behind him, things are getting side by side as well. You see the 46, the black 46 of Prescott has finally gotten by his stepdad, Brian Hoar. Trent Goodrow trying to get to the inside as well, but Brian so far holding steady. Oh, so we get real close there. The 03 of Wenzel trying to make his way to the inside.
Wenzel wants the caution here. In reality, he doesn't, because he's got new tires. Oh, hold on to it. He did. How about that?
Well, Nathan Wenzel letting it all hang out in the 03. He's certainly not looking to run 7th or 8th, but does cost him a couple positions there as he gets it back up in tune. At the front, though, it is just Kyle Goodboo very steadily holding up 0.4 to 0.5 of a second lead as we check in on this battle. Kyle Goodboo, like we said, has 3 third-place finishes of trouble.
Will this bring out a yellow? Everybody keeps it straight. Trent Goodrow's up in the wall.
And there is the caution.
He's going to stop on the track to get the caution.
We're going to take a quick look back here and see what from above and see what happened here.
Yeah, Goodrow just runs high, gets caught up on Brian Hoar's left front, and that's it. You know, that's a hard contact to the wall. We saw the 45 Beatty make his way back from that, but it happened, you know, early on in the race. That's going to be tough to come back from for the 31. But now we're going to see the mad dash to pit road. Here they come.
Here they come. Yep, it looks like pretty much everybody in our top 5 is going to pit. Everyone who hasn't been in is in. We do see some cars staying out that have already been pitted, but Mike Young out on the track. We got Caden Fisher in pit road. We got Kyle Goodboo on pit road. Everybody there, and we will see whose virtual pit crew gets them out fast. And it's the 18 of Caden Fisher. It looks like he just took right side tires, Nick.
Interesting. He made a late dive to pit road, too. You gotta wonder if maybe there's a second thought about maybe staying out there for Caden Fisher to keep the track position.
Indeed, and not a very good pit stop for Kyle Goodboo by the looks of it.
No, yeah, it looks like he's gotten caught back here.
Well, that's it. Well, that's interesting. Well, he is going to pull up here, it looks like.
Yeah, you will. I mean, these aren't quote-unquote competitive pit stops. That's a term we heard a lot last night if you were watching the Cup Series race at Richmond. But, you know, with caution laps not counting, you're not going to gain or lose spots on pit road. It's how you came down.
Well, then, though, that raises the question, Nick, of why someone would just take 2 tires if it's not going to gain them any spots.
I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe there's something that we don't know.
Or maybe the virtual crew snuck a jack into the left side when we weren't looking.
Yeah, right. That's very much a possibility. So we're going to have a field reset here, and I'll tell you, those guys on fresh tires are going to have a little bit of a ways to go. And we've got the 46, the 03, 66 up here. They all pitted, 20, 25 laps ago? So, well, maybe closer to 30 laps now.
Lap 75, I believe it was.
Okay, so a little more than 35 laps. Let me continue to backtrack myself all the way to, 40, 50 laps. But either way, I mean, there's a good little buffer here. I'm not sure where the 18 is going to be restarting from, or the 17, I guess, would be the first car in line.
Well, we do have Bob Eldred, Casey Beatty, and others lining up in front of them, Nick. So,
yeah,
some pit stop shuffling for sure here.
Maybe there was shuffling. Okay.
It looks like the 13 of Eldred is the highest of the cars that did pit.
Well, that's...
And the 04 Prescott, 46, caught me off guard there with the number change. The 03 of Wenzel will be your front row.
Yeah, and their tire. My point is that their tires are not all that old, so it's going to be interesting here. They're not going to be lame ducks, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing what I can learn, Nick, when I just shut up and let you say something.
Oh, trust me, I'm sure some of the things I say do not have carried too much weight with them. So, but
the green flag is out, by the way, if you didn't notice.
Yeah, by the way, Wenzel is the lead, and
we got a caution.
There we go. You got a yellow.
Looks like Goodboo and Willis likely the cars involved here based on the immediate dive to pit road.
Yep. Oh yeah, there they go.
Oh, may have been the 43 of Willis as we take a look up ahead of here. Nope. It looks like Jay Goodboo is just. Oh, there it is.
Yep, that'll do it.
Yep.
What do you see here, Nick? Beatty gets loose. I don't know if the 43 kind of drifted up into the 78 there. That looks like, it looks like that's what happened. And then the 43's down here, and we can't see Goodboo because he's blinking. But he was, I'm pretty sure he was the second jolt that 43 car took by the invisible force to bring out our 7th caution flag.
Yeah, and we do see the 31 of Trent Goodrow back on pit road. Unfortunately, it was starting as a good night, has turned sour for that 31 machine. But back on the track, the 03 of Wenzel got a good jump on that restart and took over the lead from the 46 of Justin Prescott. And then some interesting names behind him. 04 Matt Smith has used some strategy to get back into this, and the 66 Mike Young as well. As we double up for a restart, we'll have, of course, have one eye on our drivers who've been running up front all race. 13 of Eldred, 6 Davis, 17 Goodboo, and all the rest of them as we get ready to go back green.
Absolutely. This is, like I say every week, that pay window is about to be opened up. They're unlocking the doors and getting everything all cleaned up and ready for customers as we go green flag racing once again. And Wenzel with the big jump out in front. Matt Smith, Justin Prescott fighting side by side for second. Smith with a little bit of contact to Wenzel as they continue to battle for this lead. Don't count out Justin Prescott, last week's winner. You gotta imagine that there is going to be a lot of reasons why he would want to win this race here tonight in that 46 car.
Indeed, and they were very briefly 3 wide here in the pack as we found our top 2 point drivers door to door in this one. The 13 of Eldred and the 45 of Beatty. Up ahead, you can see the 03 of Wenzel has settled into the lead, so we will keep our eye on this 3x2 battle for the 5th spot on back.
And Beatty is right there. Oh, he nearly got contact there from the 6, but good jump by Kyler Davis to back out of it as Eldred's caught back there. Beatty is right there, but I'll tell you, as long as Beatty can see the 13 car, he's feeling good about his chances here to win this championship.
Indeed. At this point, he just has to keep him in sight. Even a buffer right there like he's developed with the 07, that's okay. He doesn't have to push the issue at this point. He's just got to keep him close as he tries to fight his way out of the pack. We're looking at the 17 of Goodboo now, who is leading those middle stages, is back up to 6th. Looking for more on the 16 of Zulo, but just over 30 laps to go, Nick. He's starting to run out of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the thing that we were talking about all race long. You don't want to wait too long for a caution to come out. So you have those good tires, but you're going to, be stuck in traffic. You're going to have to really drive to get back up to the front here, and you've got to hope for cautions. Long green flag runs are only going to help guys like Nate Wenzel, Justin Prescott, and Matt Smith.
Indeed. We look at the 18 of Caden Fisher trying to poke his way through the field. Ahead of him, Goodboo trying to take a look to the outside, but nothing doing so far. And at the front, so far it's the 03 of Wenzel, but the 04 of Matt Smith is working over Justin Prescott hard trying to get that 2nd spot.
Yeah, absolutely. These guys right here running 1, 2, 3. This is the battle for the win as far as they're concerned. As of right now, until somebody with fresh tires kind of breaks through that gap and shoots up there and drives right by them, you're not worrying about them. As far as those 3 are concerned, this is the battle for the win, and honestly, it very well might turn into that.
Indeed, but these drivers in the middle of the pack are going to have something to say about it as we can. We see the 17 of Goodboo has the nose up for the 5th spot and trying to get a 2-for-1 here as the 66 of Mike Young starts to drop back. Don't count out Goodboo, Eldred, and Beatty, and Fisher yet as they're starting to make it roll on the inside.
Yes, they are. You can see they're starting to catch those top 3 drivers racing for the lead here, even as they're in the middle of this pack. Goodboo the first to break away, but you can see they're closing in. I talked about that gap that those guys needed to break through. They're starting to break it. Those top 3 are going to be holding on here, I believe, in just a few laps.
Indeed, as we take a look, Goodboo has already gotten it down to just under a second there entering the corner and is not gonna let up. Behind him, it looks like Eldred and Beatty have gotten clear of Mike Young. Caden Fisher still trying to find his way inside, but they are coming. Look up ahead of this, Kyle Goodboo has just about caught the 3rd place car of Matthew Smith.
Yeah, and Goodboo is, we've seen all night that he's got a really strong car, but now with 24 laps to go, coming to 23 laps to go, he's gonna be really pressing the button here to try to get past these guys as quick as he can, especially with those fast cars of Eldred and Beatty trying to catch up behind him. He wants to put these cars in between himself and those other cars with fresh tires.
You can see the 13 of Eldred and the 45 of Beatty have gotten to racing each other for the 5th spot. That's certainly going to help out Kyle Goodboe in terms of being able to keep those other cars behind him. But right now, he's just got to focus on what's in front of him as we see the 04 Smith glance off the wall. And that is going to be the little bit that Kyle Goodboe needs. He is up to 3rd with 21 laps to go.
Nate Wenzel continuing to lead by 0.4 of a second. Justin Prescott 2nd for now, but Goodboe on the fresh tires trying to continue to make up some ground there in the 17. He is to the back bumper of Justin Prescott, sneaks the nose underneath. 20 laps to go in the Doug Hoar Memorial, 146 at North Wilkesboro, and we have ourselves a race.
And behind him, you can see the 45 Beatty has gotten clear of Bob Eldred for 5th. And as soon as he got clear, he started catching these guys like a house on fire, reeling in the 04 Smith. Kyle Goodboe has got to find a way around the 46 of Prescott, and he has got to find it fast as he takes a look to the inside down the back straightaway.
Goodboe trying to make the move down to the inside. Can he get Prescott? He can get side by side, but that's it. You see Beatty's right up there now with him. Prescott trying to pinch him off, knowing that this might be his last shot to win this thing. Goodboe's got the advantage. Here comes Matt Smith down on the inside as well.
Indeed, as Matt Smith bounces off the curb there. Everybody able to hold on as Casey Beatty has caught them, but now he's stuck behind this side-by-side battle for 3rd as Kyle Goodboe sets his sights on Nathan Wenzel. It's down to less than 0.4 of a second and closing as we continue to eye the battle for the 3rd spot. And now 3 cars have caught them with Beatty, Eldred, and Caden Fisher joining the mix.
Absolutely. It is all out there now. 16 laps to go, coming to 15. Goodboe trying to make the move for the lead. Beatty trying to break up this side-by-side battle for 3rd.
At the front, Kyle Goodboe is there. We are going to go inside the 17 of Goodboe as he works on Nathan Wenzel. He has got the nose inside him down the back straightaway as they lean on each other in 3 and 4.
Wenzel is not wanting to give up that lead. $146 on the line for these drivers. Wenzel trying to get the upset win. Goodboe is led for most of this race, trying to earn it back as they race side by side down the backstretch. Wenzel's not going to give him an inch. Goodboe's going to go for everything he's got.
And you can see they're closing in on a slower car. That could be a factor if they're still running side by side by then. Too close to call at the line that time as Wenzel tries to hang on, but Kyle Goodboe has half a car length up as they head into turn 3.
They continue to fight side by side. Now Goodboe's got the advantage. Beatty's there in 3rd. Can Casey Beatty come back from a horrible night to win the race and the championship? Oh, this is going to be a fun race to watch. Prescott washes up there on the racetrack in 4th position. Now Beatty down low on Wenzel. He moves Wenzel up the racetrack, not wasting any time with 11 laps to go.
Casey Beatty up to 2nd. Wenzel trying to hang on, but there it is. Now it is a mano a mano between 2 young guns of the iACT series. The 17 of Goodboe trying to become the 8th winner in 8 races. The 45 of Beatty trying to cap off a championship with a victory. They are inside of 10 laps to go, closing in on lap traffic as the laps wind down.
Beatty is within a half a second right now of Goodboe, but Goodboe was able to use the start of this run to kind of make something happen. Oh my goodness, look at this. That is crazy lap traffic that Goodboe's having to deal with right now, and you see the gap shrinking down to 0.3 of a second as there's contact behind him. JJ Goodboe can't stay out of the way right now as Beatty continues to chase him. 0.3 of a second is the lead. Beatty gained 0.2 out of that melee.
Indeed, JJ Goodboe trying desperately not to affect the outcome there, but there was simply a case of there being nowhere to hide, and we saw the 31 of Goodrow just take it down pit road to avoid causing a problem. Inside of 7 laps to go, we've got a battle for the lead, and behind him we've got a battle for third as the 13 of Bob Eldred is inside the 03 of Nathan Wenzel.
Eldred trying to get on the podium once again this year. Wenzel, what a run from him, leading this race with 20 laps to go, but just the way of the tires kind of playing against him right now. Not a whole lot he can do as he slides back up front. Beatty's within a quarter second. He is right there trying to catch Goodboo as the lap's winding down. 5 more laps to go.
We saw some contact there as the 03 of Nathan Wenzel able to muscle his way back around the 13 of Eldred for third. We are going to have to keep an eye on everything here as we get into the closing laps. Things have gotten very physical for the third spot, as you can see, as Eldred able to secure it again. In front of him, Casey Beatty is right on the back bumper of the 17 of Kyle Goodboo.
It is going to be an all-time finish here to end the 2024 season. Casey Beatty trying to win the championship. Kyle Goodboo trying to win the race. Both of them wanting the $146 payday that goes with it. 3 to go, and here comes Beatty down to the inside.
Casey Beatty pulls the crossover that time. 17 Goodboo able to get the momentum off the turn. Lap traffic dead ahead. 2 laps to go. It is anybody's race. The 38 of Cahoon pulls out of the way. Let's see what happens as they hit the back straightaway for the next to last time.
Casey Beatty edging ahead. Goodboo there on the outside, trying to stay with him. Beatty's got the advantage. What a night it's been for Casey Beatty as he takes the lead, but here comes Goodboo. They drive hard into turn number 1, and off of turn number 2, Beatty's got the advantage. Down the back stretch they go for the final time. Beatty trying to hold on. Goodboo trying to get there. Casey Beatty, a nightmare of a race, turns into a victory and a championship for the St. Johnsbury driver. Beatty gets it done.
Casey Beatty battles back and caps off the GossCars.com iACT Championship with a win. Kyle Goodboo gave it everything he had, has to settle for second. Bob Eldred, Caden Fisher, and Nathan Wenzel rounding out the top 5 in a very fitting race to pay memory to Doug Hoar, this Witts Automotive 146, sending out the season on about as high a note as you can as Casey Beatty burns him down at the start-finish line.
And that burnout must feel so good for Casey Beatty after the night that he went through, being involved in the early crash, got it back going, multiple trips down pit road to fix the damage, and now Casey Beatty, who is the 2023 White Mountain Motorsports Park champion, racing on the American Canadian Tour in a full-time capacity this year. He'll be making his Loudon debut in just a couple of weeks in that 45 car. He's going to cap off the winter of one of the biggest off seasons of his career with a huge win and a huge championship here for Beatty. What a drive.
Indeed. Was biding his time early. Sometimes you just gotta light a fire under a driver, and contact in the middle of the race sent him up into the wall, but battled back, made pit stops, got tires at just the right time, and just when he needed to, found his way. And Nick, if we go to you, I think we might have a hold of Casey right now.
Absolutely. We have our race winner and our champion here in Victory Lane, Casey Beatty, with us. I mean, Casey, where do we begin on this night? There was a point in this race where I confidently said that you were no longer racing for the win in this. You were just trying to hold on and get the championship. And you made me eat my words there, my friend. What a drive, man. Take us through it.
Oh, man, I kind of had the feeling you just said, was kind of just manage and try and win the championship. But spotter Jake, he kept coaching me through the whole race and kind of just worked me and just slowly picked him off and was able to. The car wasn't too bad and was able to get enough damage, but I guess got tires at the right time. And I hate to get physical, but racing for the win, it's got to do what you got to do.
Now, Casey, you mentioned getting tires. You did pit a couple times before that, but elected not to get the tires at that point. I mean, was it a case of just trying to be on the same strategy as the top cars, or I mean, what was you thinking in terms of timing there?
I knew me mentally. If I had taken them early, I would have burned them all off and wouldn't have had any tire at the end. So I forced myself to just work with what I had for tires and just get to that front pack before they pit. So when they pit, I pit with them. I didn't want them to pit when they were leading and I was 17th and to come out behind them. I just wanted to get to them and pit when they pit.
Well, congratulations, Casey. That was a pleasure to watch that race tonight and all season long. You guys put on great shows week in and week out. So thank you for that, and congratulations on a well-earned victory here tonight. Well, I think well-earned is an understatement after the night you went through here, but congratulations, man. Very deserving champion, and you put on a fantastic show for our fans at home tonight.
Thank you, and I want to thank my sponsors, Creative Counters, Polson Lumber, Jeff Eschker for giving me the opportunity to keep racing in real life and stuff. Dance Express, Arcam Setup Shop, Kirby Mulch, MRM, you guys for putting this on, Justin Prescott for putting the whole league on and everything. My condolences to the Hoar family and what they're going through. It's definitely tough. And I'll geez, thank you to all the competitors this season for racing hard and everything.
Well, thanks, Casey. Great season to you. We'll go on now to our second place finisher, Kyle Goodboot. Kyle, there's a lot of times in this race where it felt like it was going to be yours to win, but once again, just falling short there. The very, very end of this one, is there anything you could have done different to come home with the win here tonight?
I'm not quite sure. I think I could have saved tires a little bit before I got to the top 3 there, but I mean, we had a really fast car the whole time, so I'm not really quite sure. It needed a few less laps.
Well, just take us through the end of the race there, Kyle, where you get to the front and you can obviously see the 45 coming. I mean, what were you trying to do as a driver to hold on it there at the end?
Just trying to hit my marks because Casey's really quick on here and in real life, so I'm used to being behind him, and I just wanted to be one spot ahead of him tonight, but we'll try to get him when he comes to White Mountain this year.
Well, congratulations. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, it's just still a very strong season, Kyle. I mean, it's got to have you feeling good as we get closer to the real, quote unquote, real racing season for you.
Yeah, it's a good momentum boost. And we hopefully can carry it on and win a handful of races this year and try to bring home the King of the Mountain title.
Well, good luck in that. We'll certainly be pulling for you over here, but a good run for you tonight. And once again, same sentiment I said to Casey, just a tremendous job, all season long. You were up front, you raced clean. And we just thank you for coming out and supporting this series 100% when you didn't have basketball, as I said in the intros. But huge thank you to you and really all the guys that supported this series week in and week out this year.
Yeah, thank you guys for putting on this live stream for the people that aren't in the session, and Justin for putting this whole thing together.
All right, we'll move on now to our third place finisher, and he's made himself a mainstay in this in our Victory Lane interviews here this year. Bob, the championship comes just out of your grasp at the end of this thing when it's all said and done. But you got to be happy with another top 3 run and the speed that you showed, not just tonight, but all season long. And, being there at the end is one of the last 2 drivers standing for this title.
Yeah, 10-4. I don't know if I'd even say it was close to a grasp. Casey he's on a different level. But as I've said all season, I've had nothing but respect for any of these guys. I haven't been on a track in probably 6 years at this point, so it just means the world to be able to come out and run with these guys when I'm not on track anymore and still be even mildly competitive, let alone have some fun with them.
Yeah, Bob, you definitely were very strong there in the middle stages of the race. Looked like you had a content to win. I mean, what happened at the end? Was it simply a matter of traffic?
Yeah, I made the mistake of going into the pits. I followed last week a little too far, and I was like, I'm not going to pit till after lap 100. I think that was a mistake. I think track position meant a little bit more than what I hoped for, and then I got into a situation where I can't even remember who I was coming up behind, but I saw Casey diving to my inside, and I had to make a 3 wide move just to try to do something to keep him behind me. And in the end, it didn't matter. He's just a little too quick, and it was just something to try to hang on for it. I mean, Kyle's a rocket ship. He was there every week. It was just a matter of him missing the first couple. I'm sure he would have been right up in that. He probably would have been second if it wasn't for that whole situation. Or Caden was fast every time he got on track. It was just a matter of missing a couple. So all I can say is respect. That was a blast, and thank you to you guys for putting this on, and Justin for all the work that he does. And it's been a blast to be able to send it out to the family that always looked forward to the races in the past and be able to check something out at least for one night a week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Bob, for once again being here every week with us, and it's a pleasure to watch you out on the racetrack once again. I know it's something we haven't gotten to see in a long time in the real world, so it's always nice to get to see you out there racing for the win. On the virtual racetrack here. So congratulations and thank you for being out here, and congrats on a good season.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was fun.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up. That's our season, Mike. And it's bittersweet because the last 8 Monday nights have been so much fun. Getting in here and getting back to putting these races together and broadcasting them and putting them out and trying to help grow our ACT YouTube page, and getting to hang out and talk with and race against, and for a lot of these guys, some people that we don't usually get to see all that often in the winter months, and it's been a lot of fun, but as sad as we are to sign off for the final time here this year, it does mean that we are 13 days from our very first race on the American Canadian Tour schedule. I mean, it's hard to believe we're already it's right in our face now.
Indeed, 13 days away from the first ACT Tour race of the season, and less than a week away, Nick, from the first race of the season, because it might not seem like it, but we are less than a week away from the 50th icebreaker at Thompson Speedway. And, the ACT Tour does not compete, but that is an event co-sanctioned by ACT and PASS. So definitely a great way to get yourself in the mood for racing before that Northeast Classic. Saturday, April 6th, we've got the PASS Super Late models for 75 laps, the Monaco Modified Tri-Track Series for 75 laps. Sunday, we've got the famous ground pounders of the NASCAR Wheel and Modify Tour. We've also got the Pro Trucks and all 6 Thompson divisions. So if you don't think you can wait 13 more days for the first ACT Tour race of the season, either get yourself to Thompson Speedway this weekend or watch it on Racing America, because I personally, this iACT Tour has definitely got me in the mood for the real thing, and I hope other people are feeling the same.
Absolutely. And if you've never been to Thompson, we saw it in a virtual capacity last week, but with the icebreaker coming up, if you've never been to Thompson, you want to scratch that itch of going to see a race in person. Never been a better time. Thompson is a tremendous racetrack. It's a beautiful facility, a very historic facility, and ACT, PASS, and Thompson Speedway have worked so hard over the last 4 or 5 years to revitalize that racetrack and get it back up to what it was in its glory days. And they've done a great job, and the races there continue to be so much fun to watch, whether you're in person or watching on Racing America. But if you've never been to Thompson, go support what they're doing, and go check it out, because that place, there's no other way to put it other than it is a spectacle.
Indeed. You literally, we talk sometimes about being able to feel the history when you walk into a racetrack. you can feel the history when you walk into Thompson. As we mentioned last week, it is the oldest asphalt stock car racing track in North America. The track opened in 1940, before World War II. It was known as the Indianapolis of the East for many years. And if you have been looking for reasons not to go to Thompson, stop looking for reasons not to go and just show up to the racetrack. It's such an amazing track, such an amazing time you have there, and you know you can get yourself 2 straight weekends of action, because then we're going to be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the Northeast Classic. It's a really good 1-2 punch to start the Northeast season, isn't it?
It sure is, and I couldn't be more ready to start the racing year. But once again, just a great year here with iACT. We had a lot of fun with it, and we are hoping that we're back next year doing it to count down our way through the early months of the 2025 calendar to get to the real life racing season there. But before we sign off, just a huge thank you to Justin Prescott, Wits Automotive, GossCars.com, RKM Setup Shop, Fred Vance Trucking was on for a couple of races, Bert Duffy Excavation, Goss Chevrolet, all the sponsors that came on and helped us put on this series, bring it to you each and every week. Can't thank you guys enough, and what a special way to culminate an entire season's worth of hard work here tonight, with a great memorial race for Doug Hoar, who we unexpectedly lost over this off season. A great way to honor him, and I'll tell you, this race was about as good as it'll get. So thank you to everybody. Mike, thanks for coming in here, and especially last week when I was on vacation, thanks for stepping up and doing the race by yourself. And I know that's not an easy thing to do, so thank you again as always. But for now, we will sign off. Like we said, get to Thompson, get to New Hampshire. If you can't do it, make sure you're a subscriber to Racing America and you're watching those races on Racing America. You won't want to miss the racing action as we get set to go full bore towards 2024 racing season. Thanks everybody for watching. For now, I'm Nick Mumley signing off. Have a great night, and we will see you at the racetrack.